We got like 3 going. We're getting very close. We're at 6:58. So exciting.
It is very exciting. It's a little exciting that we're live, and everything seems to be working well.
Right. Yeah, we're already a minute and 53 in. People are like, when are they going to start?
Thank you.
Okay. You couldn't see that part? Every day, folks.
Every day.
She asked for this.
I did bring it upon myself.
She did.
Yeah.
It's weird because the camera's reversed, so it's hard. Okay, it's not reversed. My head's just janky. I feel like I'm going in the other direction. But the letters behind us are correct, so I don't really know what's happening.
You're a strange one. You are a strange one, Matt Farmer.
Yeah, it happens.
Sure. I think that we are. I think that it's live. I think that that's good.
Okay.
I don't know this part.
Well, if you said it was confusing, but if you go down, we'll see if anybody else is. Now we're down to 0 viewers again.
Okay, well it is 7 o'clock.
All right.
So I think we're probably going to go ahead and try to get started doing this. And
you might introduce Jude.
Good evening. We have a cat here with us tonight. Jude. She isn't very often seen at the homestead.
This is the very first time she's ever appeared live on anything.
That's true. She's a little squeaky, so I apologize for that. So we are going to get started tonight. Good evening and welcome to the July Cocktail of the Month. We are the Mad Farmer and Miss Mercy, and we're excited to be with you. We did have some technical difficulties last month for our June Cocktail of the Month, which was the Harvey Wallbanger, and so we're still kind of working around that. We did finally get it recorded, and I think it is on our Facebook page. We're going to have it in a couple of other places. We've just been a little slow to get that sorted.
It was my birthday month, and
that's true.
I managed to.
It's true.
Homesteading can be a dangerous place if you're not paying attention. So, I did manage to get my very first.
It was your first
compound fracture. Actually, it was my first fracture of any type that I'm aware of.
Yes.
It was quite exciting, and don't do that if you can avoid it.
Cannot recommend.
But it has slowed things down a bit on the homestead front because basically it's going to take about 3 months to heal up to the point where I can do stupid things again.
It has slowed us down, and the following week after he broke his finger, I stabbed myself with my garden cutters. So
looks like Gail is laughing at that.
She's saying hello, hello, and so so I was using my garden clippers, and I stabbed myself in the leg. So the following week, I was at minor emergency getting a tetanus shot for my self-inflicted wound.
Do not do homesteading the way we do it. It's try to be less dangerous.
Try to be a little less dangerous.
Right.
Well, so July, we are here, well, kind of in the middle of the month, and so it is July, and it was the 4th of July earlier in the month, and we also had Flag Day, so we had the 4th of July, and we had Flag Day, and it's probably somebody's
farmer's birthday
that you know, and so if you are familiar with July, there's a lot of things that are red, white, and blue. There's also something else, though, that comes to mind when people think about July. If you are a person who enjoys the holidays.
Do you want to give them a hint with our soundtrack?
Sure. So there you go. Our cocktail of the month is going to be celebrating Christmas in July.
Because if you grew up in the farmer's family when he was young, back in the 70s, we had the country grandparents who lived on the farm, and we had the city grandparents who, the grandpa had an insurance agency, and his hobby was having everybody he ever knew bring over every album he could ever find, and he transferred them over to reel-to-reel tape. For those of you who weren't born or haven't ever heard of history, go ahead and look that up. Reel-to-reel, it's a thing. They don't use it much anymore. But point is, you never really knew what was going to be coming out of the tape room where he was taping things, and so sometimes you would get Hawaiian music in the summer, because that, and not only Hawaiian music, but Christmas music.
Yep.
We'd get Bing Crosby, singing White Christmas, or in this case, Don Ho, and what you just heard was a Jimmy Buffett cover of Don Ho's
Melikilikimaka.
right, which is a Hawaiian way to say Merry Christmas. So, in the spirit of things, because Miss Mercy wasn't aware of this, but I figure we need props, because,
Looky. Well, Merry Christmas in July.
there we go.
There we go. So, our cocktail of the month is eggnog. Yay! It's
Now-
very exciting.
Now, you're probably saying, where do you find eggnog in the summer months?
That
Because
is
I've
a
only
great
ever seen it
question.
in the store when I was growing up.
That is right. Yes.
How is it possible that you, the man farmer Miss Mercy, could be having eggnog in July?
Well, it just so happens that I have a recipe to make eggnog. And so, because I like to look into the origin of things, I found eggnog has a very interesting history. And so we will tell you a little bit about that. And eggnog in July seemed like just the thing to do. And so we will be enjoying that in just a little bit. I did look up some little interesting tidbits about eggnog, and I love eggnog, and I get that not everybody loves eggnog. People are kind of either in the I love eggnog camp or in the not so much camp.
Now, time out here just a second, though. I was one of those people who was not a big eggnog fan.
Oh.
But commercial eggnog is what I found out I'm not a fan of.
Oh.
Commercial eggnog, really, it's just, it's syrupy, it's sweet, it's just not, I didn't ever find it to be that good.
Okay.
We have had this particular recipe in the past, the last couple of Christmases, and it is considerably different than eggnog you would get in the store, and it's a lot better, in my opinion.
All right.
So that's my 2 cents on that part.
So just scooting us along, a little bit of history. So I got this information from a couple of different websites, and those will be listed in the those will be listed on the website in the blog when we get that up on the TSL Homestead blog. But the PBS.org, when they talked about the history from the History Kitchen, they said, which I thought kind of was interesting, and I hadn't really thought of it, that eggnog has the same ingredients as unfrozen ice cream, which is eggs, milk, sugar, and in this case, alcohol.
Most ice creams I don't think have alcohol.
Not most.
Okay.
But it
Maybe some.
It began as a medieval drink, so it's been around for a really long time. But in the medieval age, it was called posset, which was a hot milk curdled with ale, wine, or something similar, and then they sweetened it and added spices. They think that the monks may have added eggs at some point, and then it was something enjoyed by the upper classes because those ingredients were expensive during the time.
And you had to hire a monk, so that was not cheap.
So that would be somewhat difficult to get a hold of during the time. But how the name eggnog came to be is a little bit of a mystery. And they think that it might be because of the wooden the mugs that they drank it out of were called noggins. And so that's one idea about where it came from. By the 1700s, it was being enjoyed in Europe and America. And in the colonies, the early Americans enjoyed it with, they had a supply of milk and eggs because they had their own farm animals often. So they swapped out the sherry and Madeira, which is what they used as the liqueur over in England, and they used whiskey and rum because it was easier to get a hold of, and it didn't have some of those taxes from Great Britain. George Washington...
You may have noticed we don't like taxes.
George Washington had a recipe that included sherry, rum, and rye whiskey, so his was a very boozy version. And then... one of the things,
founding father?
Yeah.
Cool.
One of the things that I read about on a couple of different websites was the Eggnog Riot of 1826.
What was that, pray tell?
Well, thank you for asking. Apparently, the Westport cadets really enjoyed having eggnog at their Christmas festivities.
Westport or West Point?
West Point.
Ah.
Very different than Westport.
Yes.
They had a new superintendent at West Point Academy, and the superintendent forbade the consumption of alcohol, and so...
I bet he was super popular.
Not really. The cadets snuck some onto campus because their tradition was to spike the eggnog and to enjoy it at Christmas time. But 19 cadets were expelled, and they had some assaults. The cadets weren't acting very good at all.
Sounds like a typical party at my high school.
Possibly. Smithsonian Magazine did an article
Not that I was ever invited.
on the riot called Eggnog. It's all fun and games until someone starts a holiday riot. So that link will be in the show notes as well. And then in the 1960s, that's when kind of a non-alcoholic eggnog started to be readily available in grocery stores. Interestingly, for those of you who may be in the eggnog camp, we drink about 15 million gallons of it every winter.
Not us personally.
No, just us as the country.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't include the cookies and drinks. I mean, the eggnog lattes and the eggnog milkshakes and all that stuff. So, but again, not everybody loves it. So, hot drink. Ours is going to be a cold drink.
Do you make it hot?
They used to.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a cold drink.
All right. I mean, it seemed like wintertime would be the time typically people drink it.
It's a cold drink.
Okay, I get it. So it's great for July. I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
What were you going to do when I said it's a cold drink?
Oh, I was going to get it. Oh. Where do we have it? Oh, we have it. Yeah. Wow. Messed my cue up.
Wow.
I had one job.
One job. So while he's getting that and we get it poured, because
it separates fine.
I didn't make, we made it a little bit ahead of time. So
because it turns out that you would be pretty bored watching us actually crack
mixing
the eggs.
it. Yep. So, but this particular recipe that we made is out of a cookbook that I've got called the Fannie Merritt Farmer Boston Cooking
if you
School
poured some of this
Cookbook.
into our glass, we could enjoy that while you're...
This cookbook, this is the 1941 edition of this cookbook. The original edition of the cookbook came out in 1896.
Ooh, that's good. Look at that goodness.
And so...
We were going to drink it out of a Nog-ish type thing, but we thought maybe you'd rather see it.
Yeah, so you can see what it looks like. So the original book came out in 1896, and it's still in publication today, just newer versions of it. My earliest version is 1912. My dear friend Erin got that for me as a gift, and so I've been enjoying it, and that's where we discovered...
Do they still have the eggnog recipe in the most current issue?
This recipe. I don't know.
Huh.
So with that, I think we're going to top it off with a little eggnog. That's how they suggest to... darn it.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for, is just,
keeping me straight. Keeping me straight.
I think of it as what? Continuity?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So, eggnog riot of 1826. This particular recipe, I can tell you, it has a dozen eggs in it, separated from the yolks and the whites.
You heard that right, folks. A dozen eggs.
It has a cup of sugar, a quart of milk, 2 cups of whiskey, 1 cup of rum, and then a quart of heavy cream. And so you mix everything together, you pour in the alcohol, and you stir it all up. It gets the egg whites, you beat those quite stiff, and then you fold those into the drink.
And what do we find out about the egg whites? Do them separate. Right?
Do them separately. Yeah, you want to beat those stiff separately. So I think probably with that, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to our eggnog story here?
Well, it makes like what, 9 gallons?
5 quarts.
5 quarts.
5 quarts.
So we suggest either having friends over or not drinking it all at once.
That is correct.
Because we'd like drink responsibly, kind of like. Right?
Yes, that is true. So this is our Christmas in July celebration, and I hope that you all enjoy eggnog. And if not, I might be able to make you a believer with this particular recipe. So with that, we would like to...
Almost.
What? What do you want me to push play again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We'll play our way out.
Right, all right. So we would like to say, enjoy, drink responsibly, and get into the spirit of things.
Oh man, that was good. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.